a greater sin. In addition, he also has to pay the penalty. The conditional covenant is the one when the person attaches some conditions. For example, he may say, if Allah gives me a son, I will perform such and such good deed. Then that good deed becomes wajib upon him only when he gets a son. Once the condition is fulfilled, it will also be haram for him to leave the deed undone. And he will have to pay the additional penalty also. 3 types of covenant with Allah SWT. Actually, a vow and an oath is also a covenant with Almighty Allah SWT. Therefore, a covenant is of 3 types. One is the covenant itself, and of the other 2, one is a vow and the other an oath. It is only due to divine mercy that man is given a choice of 3 kinds of covenants in case he wishes to avoid the risk of being liable for keeping 60 fasts, etc. Hence, he can make a vow or take an Islamic oath. Expiation of a vow or a covenant. Breaking of a covenant, whether absolute or conditional, is haram. The expiation becomes wajib in case of default. It is the same penalty as that of breaking or omitting, without any reason, a fast of the month of Ramadan, i.e. feeding 60 poor people, keeping 60 fasts, or freeing a slave. If a vow is broken, its kafara expiation is same as that of breaking an oath. That is, feeding, or clothing 10 poor people or freeing a slave. But if he cannot do any of these, then it is wajib for him to keep 3 fasts. Breaking of promise and hypocrisy. Breaking of a promise is a very serious sin. It is a sin that sows the seed of hypocrisy in the heart of the person who commits it. The person dies in a state of disbelief and is raised with the hypocrites on the Day of Judgment. The Holy Quran says, and there are those of them who made a covenant with Allah. If He gives us out of His grace, we will certainly give alms, and we will certainly be of the good. But when He gave them out of His grace, they become niggardly of it, and they turned back and they withdrew. So He made hypocrisy to follow as a consequence into their hearts till the day when they shall meet Him. Because they failed to perform towards Allah what they had promised Him, and because they told lies. Surah At-Tawbah 9, 75-77. The Shan al-Nuzul circumstances of revelation of this ayat, according to Tafsir Manhaj as-Sadichin, is as follows. Thulb ibn Khatib was a very staunch and a well-known Christian. One day he came to the Holy Prophet S. He began to complain of his poverty, and requested the Holy Prophet S. to pray for him. The Holy Prophet S. advised him, do not emphasize upon this prayer of yours, but be patient in your circumstances. Too much of wealth is dangerous for you. If you are grateful for this favor, it is better than too much of wealth that makes you unthankful. By Allah, if I pray that mountains become gold and silver and move with me, Allah shall cause it to be so, but I know that an honorable hereafter is better, and those who are well provided in this world have a difficult hereafter. So, follow the Prophet of Allah and accept his advice. But Thulb the Christian did not follow the advice of the Holy Prophet S, and again he came back to him with his entreaty and said, O Prophet of Allah, I make a covenant to Allah that if He gives me abundant wealth, I shall spend it upon the deserving ones and do good through it. When he persisted in his request, the Holy Prophet S prayed for the removal of his property. Allah SWT gave abundant increase in his livestock, and he became a Muslim. His animals multiplied, and he became so busy in supervising them that he stopped praying behind the Holy Prophet S in the congregational prayers. He prayed only the morning and the evening prayers. Then his herd became so large that the surrounding area of Medina was not sufficient anymore. He took his animals to the outskirts of the town and settled there. Now he was deprived of praying the daily prayers behind the Holy Prophet S. Still he continued to come to Medina for the Friday prayers. Then his business expanded beyond the valleys surrounding Medina. Finally he could not even attend the Friday prayers. One day the Holy Prophet S asked his companions, why is Thulb not attending the congregation? The people replied, he has so many goats and sheep that a single valley is unable to accommodate them. Now he has moved to such and such valley and settled there. The Holy Prophet S upon hearing this said, woe be upon Thulb, woe be upon Thulb, woe be upon Thulb. Later, when it was wajib to pay zakat due to the revelation of the verse of zakat, the Holy Prophet S summoned one of his followers and gave him this verse in writing and sent with him a tribesman of Bani Salim. The The Prophet ordered, after you have collected zakat from Thulb, go to such and such good man. And collect it from him too. Both of them went to Thulb. They showed him the Quranic verse and also gave him the letter of the Holy Prophet containing the rules of zakat. Thulb had become so much attached to his wealth that he said, Muhammad is collecting jizya from us. Go somewhere else. Meanwhile I shall think upon it. The two men went to this righteous person of the tribe of Bani Salim. When he saw the ayat and the letter of the Holy Prophet he said, I hear and I obey the command of Allah. And the Prophet, he went among his camels and selected the best ones for zakat and said, please take these for the Messenger of Allah. The agents told him that it was not wajib to give the best of the camels. He said, how can I not offer the best for Allah and His Prophet? Then these two men came back to Thulb. The wretched fellow repeated his previous objection and refused to pay zakat. When the Holy Prophet heard of this incident, he said just once, woe be upon Thulb. Then the Holy Prophet prayed for the well-being of the one who had paid the zakat willingly. The companions used to wonder why Thulb had not accepted the advice of the Holy Prophet and saved himself from apostasy. Zakat is one of the Dururiyat al-Din, and one who says that zakat is not wajib has apostatized and is no more a Muslim. The ayats quoted before this discussion were revealed for Thulb. Mutual covenants and agreements. The third type of promise is when people form actual covenants and agreements. The ayats and the traditions state that it is wajib to fulfill this type of promise and it is haram to go against them. For example, in Surah Al-Isra, and fulfill the promise. Surely every promise shall be questioned about. Surah Al-Isra 17:34. Similarly, the Quran describes truthful and the pious people thus, and those who fulfill their promise when they make a promise. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:177. Also, when describing those who shall be saved from hell and earn paradise, Allah SWT says, and those who are keepers of their trusts and their covenant. Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:8. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq says, to keep your word to your believing brother is wajib like a vow, even though there is no expiation for going against it. The Holy Prophet said, one who has belief in Allah and in last day Qiyamah must keep his word when he promises. 6. Thus keeping a promise is a fulfillment for the belief in Allah SWT in the day of Qiyamah. Similarly, the beginning verses of Surah As-Saf have also denounced the breaking of promise and clearly prove that non-fulfillment of a promise of every type is haram. Hypocrites do not keep their words. The Holy Prophet is reported to have said, 3 traits make man a hypocrite even if he prays and fasts: betrayal of trust, lying and non-fulfillment of promise. 7. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq says, those who are just in their dealing, those who do not lie and those who fulfill their promises are from those who have perfect morals. And it is haram to criticize them behind their back. Their being just adl is obvious. To maintain brotherly relations with them is wajib. 8. It follows from this tradition, that a person who is unjust, a liar and one who does not keep his word, does not possess morals. He is not a just person adl but a transgressor fasik, and it is not wajib to fulfill the rights of brotherhood towards him. No concession. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq has also remarked, there are 3 obligations in fulfillment of which Allah does not give concession to any. To behave well with the parents, whether they are righteous or sinners, to fulfill one's promise, whether to a righteous person or a sinner, and to deliver a trust to its owner whether he